Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
What hotel is that, Dallas? No free ads, but like,
You like?
yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, it's 4 seasons.
I'm brag.
Zone 4. Me and Lawrence Butler. Zone 4. 4 seasons.
The Law Dog. Yeah.
Shit's heating up for the Law Dog, son.
I was gonna say, like he's been heating up recently, so he deserves the luxury that you guys live in. Do they treat you like a player? Why?
Yes, they do. I've earned it. Is that how that goes? Yeah. Yep. Former player. Yep.
I think we know it's because he's on the Baseball is Dead podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, and he drives a hard bargain. From what I've heard, Dallas an excellent negotiator, because there's no one on this earth that believes their own bullshit more than Dallas Braden. So he can debate, argue, and negotiate with the best of them, brother. And you're gonna see that yourself today, because we're doing the all quarter century team today. So I did this last night. I feel like my brain juices flow better late at night. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. We'll do this in a little bit, because there's some stories that we want to talk about in the recent baseball world before we get into this. And we also have Family Feud today. The hardest, I think, category, position, whatever that I really was struggling with. I feel like you guys are going to go DH. For me, it was fifth starter. Like the first 4 starters, it was like, yep. And then I got to the fifth guy and I was like, ooh, do I go him? I can't leave him off. But if I go him, like this guy is pretty comparable to him. So like, what separates this guy from that guy if I only have 1 spot left? Like the fifth starter for me probably took a good 25, 30 minutes before I was like, all right, fine, fuck it, this guy.
For your starting staff?
I completely agree.
You were there, Jayhay? Okay.
Yeah, and I would take it almost like a half step further and say that the first 3 guys on the rotation were really obvious to me. And then I was debating the final 2 spots between 3, 4 different guys, because to your point, like a lot of the guys whose entire careers you have are not that dissimilar, right? And so it's like, it's more like a flavor thing. And then you have this completely different other statistical case sitting over there. It's like, well, do you want 4 of the best seasons we've ever seen, or do you want somebody's entire career? So yeah, no, I'm with you. There were a couple other that were really, really hard for me when I did them, but that I agree was probably the hardest decision. Yeah,
I mean, like you started weighing things that you didn't have to weigh in other situations, where for that fifth spot, it's like, all right, I'm looking at the career WAR. I'm looking at the ERA plus. I'm looking at the strikeouts per 9. I'm looking at the postseason numbers. I'm looking at is his jersey retired? You're just his aura factor. There was a very interesting debate once we got to the number 5 starter. But not to give away too much, we will be revisiting the quarter century team, the Baseball is Dead quarter century team, which, by the way, we're not doing a draft. Don't get excited. I know people like the drafts on Baseball is Dead. We will be doing some more drafts once the offseason rolls around, but we still have about 5 months before we get back to those. This is just a nice little who you got situation. And when we talk about who you got, what better way to do that than on the Underdog Fantasy app? Dallas, did you actually grow a set of balls and pick some? Did you pick anything this morning, or was that something where you saw that it was a light slate and didn't want to risk it because it was slim pickings?
Well, it being a light slate, I do only have slim pickings here, and I try to make sure that I don't hone in on certain individuals or certain teams all the time.
Sure.
But no, I have not gotten to the picks, but I've been thumbing around.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I feel like
there'll be something that drops later. What'd you do? You do something cute where you just took like a couple guys?
Yeah, I did.
Put that together, just a couple.
Yeah, I did. I selected someone that I don't think I've picked yet this year. But James Wood has been a staple for me. James Wood is definitely someone that we've seen his name in my pick'ems more than one time. But Brandon Lau is someone that I don't think I've gone with yet this year, but he made his way into my pick'em this morning. We're gonna
four homers in his last 7 games.
There you go. We're gonna hold each other accountable here, Dallas, because we can't just be throwing picks out to the people, being like, "Yeah, I don't know, it wins, it loses, who cares?" I care. I care if it wins. So yeah, by the time the pod drops, it may be too late to like take our picks. So definitely check out our social media channels where we will be posting our picks. For me daily, I think Dallas only does it on the day of the podcast because he's a pussy and he's not a volume shooter like me that, I'm just going out there trying to get picks of the people.
You're throwing up shots for sure.
Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's JARED to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. We will be holding each other accountable on this podcast, Dallas. I want to know, if you're winning. I want to know if you're getting close to winning. We can talk about my wins. I got no problem doing that. I can show them the books. I got no problem talking about my history of dubs. I think yesterday after you left, Dallas Braden, well, Jayhay and I had a conversation about
did we?
Yeah, about a right-handed starter that at the beginning of the year it was like, man, what team is giving up the farm for this guy? What team is going to take out of your top 10 prospects? Who's trading their number 2, 5, and 7 to acquire this guy? And then the season started. And, when I'm looking around and I look at the starters for the day of, when I wake up in the morning, I look at the probables. Like, for example, the other night, Tuesday night, I saw Aaron Savale and it was like a 9 ERA. And I was like, all right, so he's probably made like 1 or 2 stuff. Like, that's inflated because of a small sample size. Then you look at the probables yesterday and you're like, oh, Sandy Alcántara, an 8.04 ERA. And you're like, what is that? Like 2 starts, 3 starts? No. How about 10 starts?
Mm-mm.
He's made all of his starts. And he had an 8 ERA.
A small sample.
And then we were like, let's dive into this depending on, does it go well? Does it not go well? And start number 11, which was last night against the San Diego Padres. And lo and behold, Dallas, his ERA basically went up half a run since we last met, which was yesterday. 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 walks, not a single strikeout. Did not strike out a single batter in 4 innings and gave up 6 earnies in 4. So now his ERA jumps to 8.47. But hey, the FIP's only 5.36. So there is a little bit of bad luck involved.
A little bad luck there. That's all right.
Yeah, a little bit of bad luck. But what the fuck is going on with Sandy Alcántara? It can't just be a situation of he's coming off a major surgery. There's some rust there, didn't pitch in a long time, and he's just trying to figure it out. There's no figuring it out here. He missed all of last year. But I mean, what the fuck? Like, what is going on with this guy?
So you're giving him absolutely zero leeway? Zero leeway.
I've seen guys come back from a major surgery and struggle, but this is kind of like an unprecedented level of suck for someone coming back from a major surgery.
That's fine. I'll tell you what the win here, the victory here is that he's rebounding and he's healthy enough to take the baseball at least 10 times already in the year coming off surgery.
Yeah.
What's that? But if he's going to be a commodity at all, this has to happen. He's got to go through this cycle, because I think we can all agree that should the next 7 to 10 starts go swimmingly, Sandy could very well be pitching for a competitor. And that's all it's going to take, is you'll have a very quick memory when it comes to how things started. But now, over the next 7 to 10 outings, should he be able to put something together where you see some swing and miss starting to generate? Maybe you see the hard contact rate start to go down. You see the end zone rate start to clean up a little. Now maybe you have some things that you can get excited about, or at least start to sell yourself on if you are a team that is looking to help bolster a rotation and you don't want to break the bank to do so per se. Maybe you're in a wonderful spot where it's a place where you can buy low on a struggling Sandy and hope that you're going to cash out on the back end of it because he's getting better. He's trending in the right direction.
I think that's part of what makes the conversation so fascinating, though, is that we're framing it that way. And I think right now you are definitionally correct about what kind of asset he is. But that's not the conversation that we were having at the beginning of the season. And really more importantly, because who gives a shit what the media is saying? That's not what the Marlins' internal expectations were for what they were going to get for what is their biggest trade piece moving forward. And it's not a piece that is or was ever going to completely jumpstart a rebuild or a retool, but it was a big part of the thinking. And the assumption was by pretty much everybody that was talking about it was that, yeah, he was coming back from a major surgery, but he's going to be good. Maybe not Cy Young again, but good sooner rather than later. And I get your optimism because he's still throwing hard. He's still taking the ball. It's not like his velocity's down 2-3 miles an hour from where he was pre-surgery. But I looked at the list of people that have started seasons with ERAs this bad in recent baseball history. And probably not surprising, it's not a list of guys who largely turned it around. It's closer to guys who were near the end of their time in Major League Baseball than it was guys who ended up getting over this stretch and turning it around and being, let alone productive major leaguers, whatever we thought Sandy Alcántara was going to be. And you can look at almost anything. You rattled off some of the stuff, but every important indicator, advanced or underlying, is troubling. His strikeout rate and walk rate stuff, just to start with real basic numbers, are totally untenable for a pitcher that you want pitching probably even out of your 5 spot, let alone important innings. So that push-pull between what the Marlins expected, what they may get now, what teams are going to offer, who's even in position to be offering for a guy with an 8 ERA, or if it comes down with a 7 ERA. I think that's interesting because now it's let's get off of the contract as opposed to let's get 2 to 3 really nice pieces of prospect, wealth.
And that's where I think I think I hope I should say that somebody gets lucky and that they're able to find that sweet spot between the Marlins eating X amount of dollars. They're able to bring Sandy in and they're able to find a landing spot for him that's either at the back end of the rotation, or who's to say that you don't take a let's maximize him approach and throw Sandy in your bullpen and figure that, you know what, maybe in a short burst, we can tell him just throw strikes. Just try to throw it down the fucking middle. All right. And give us 2 innings of that. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we can kind of turn you into somebody that we can leverage later in a game, whether that's on the plus or minus side. I think we're all probably more comfortable saying, if we need to keep the ball game right here where it's at, and we need to, we're down by 2 or 3. I don't know that he's that he can be that impactful, right? Because at the game within 2 or 3, I'm still running a dog out there because I need the fucking ball game to stay within 1 swing, and that's what's going to do it is a fucking dog. So I need Sandy to turn into that dog that we can take off the leash and let run for an inning and a third, 2 innings at a time, and maybe that's where you're able to benefit from bringing Sandy in. But yeah, again, the silver lining, the positive, he's taking the baseball, the arm hasn't fallen off, and he's in a position of health to be able to do that. Unfortunately, the productivity, nowhere to be found.
Yeah, it's I don't want to say it's perplexing because, I mean, again, there are certainly guys that struggle coming off a major surgery, but it's more so the fact that, to Dallas's point, he's healthy enough to take the ball every 5th day. But yeah, he's allowed more earned runs than any other pitcher in the league, and a lot of traffic, a lot of hits, a lot of walks. Yeah, it's a feel thing. You look at the walks per 9, 5.1 walks per 9. I mean, his career mark, even with the 5.1, is 2.9. That year that he got hurt, 2.3. The year he won the Cy Young, and even 2. He's not a guy that's out there issuing up free passes, and he's doing that this year. So, and
his career, what's his career? His career whip is solid.
His career whip is a 1.18, and this year it's a 1.67.
Part of what I think is fascinating too about some of the pitch profile stuff is that, like, I mean, if you want to be really nitpicky, I guess his fastball velocity is down like a half mile an hour from where it was in 22. But like the numbers on his pitches, just in terms of surface level stats, are in a lot of cases pretty similar to what they used to be outside of the four seam fastball, which is allowing like 100 points higher in batting average and like a different stratosphere of slug. And it's like, I'm sure there's that to me lends some idea to the fact that it could be fixable on a certain level, because you're like, well, the velocity's still there. His arm is still intact. Like, it looks like the pitch shape is by and large similar to what it used to be. And we're just not getting the results. So maybe, yes. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Feel. So this is where knocking the rust off, quote unquote, this is where you have to give credence to that theory, is because if the movement profile and all of the like are similar, then it's just about how this is feeling for Sandy. And from there, it's a confidence factor, right? Like, do I feel good enough? Do I feel confident in what's coming out of my hand? And have I been able to correlate consistency? And if after a surgical repair, I just have not been able to pin down how it feels and what I can expect. And because with every throw you make, every time that ball comes off your hand, you know what went well, what didn't. And you're constantly trying to recapture and repeat the good feelings, right? Like I've thrown a lot of bullpens in my life, and I've watched even more these days. And that is inevitably what we're after, is just the feel of being able to repeat what felt good. Can I identify it? How's that going? And from there, you have confidence to execute your whole other arsenal, or the whole remaining part of your arsenal. But if even the heater, just the basic fastball, doesn't feel right coming out, well, you feel like you're kind of searching. You feel like you're lost in space a little.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, Paul Skenes goes 6 2/3, 4 hits, did not allow a run, did not walk anybody, 7 strikeouts. He hit a guy, probably deserved it. Lowered his ERA on the year to 2.15, to 2.51 FIP as well. This was against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So again, good team, getting carved up by your boy. Should it be surprising? No, it's not. But I think for me, if I'm a Pirates fan, I'm looking at the walks. That's 0. He hasn't had an outing where he allowed 0 walks since late April. This was the first start in the month of May where he allowed 0 walks. And it's not just a walk here, a walk there. I mean, if you go down the line, it's 4 walks, 4 walks, 3 walks, 1 walk, 2 walks. So the fact that I saw the 7 strikeouts, which is it's right on pace with what he's done for the whole year. What if I told you guys, and I'm sure Jayhay knows this, what if I told you guys that Paul Skenes has yet to have double-digit strikeouts in a start this year? Would that surprise you?
No.
It surprised me.
No.
Surprised me. Not saying it's like I'm not saying it's something where it's like, uh-oh, but it is surprising given how nasty his shit is.
Yeah, but I think to your point about some of the command issues, I mean, and those are recent, right? I mean, because early on, it was the same old story.
Yep.
Like you're just filling up the strike zone, 1, maybe 2 walks a game.
It's a May issue.
What's that?
It's just a May issue, these walk totals.
Yeah. You know, I think it could be just because of the pure stuff, the pure horsepower. So you expect on average, right, 9 or 10 a game. But I don't know that I'm overly surprised, because when you look back, like how many double-digit strikeout games did he have last year? Like 6.
I feel like it was almost all of them.
It was only 2.
Oh wow,
2.
What? Yeah, his second big league outing. And then July 11th against the Brewers.
So how many? Yeah. So then I would look at like the nines, right? Because I thought he had, and that's why I was going to say is once things really start to take off, and I mean, look, we're 10 starts, 12 starts into this thing right now. But like the middle to the lower or the middle to the end of the season, where I think guys really start to settle in to what they've got going on. That's when I would expect him to start ratcheting shit up.
He struck out 9 batters 5 times
last year.
Yes.
We're at 24 straight starts without a double-digit strikeout.
Now that right there, that's more surprising to me.
It's the last 12 starts of last season and the first 12 starts of this season.
That is more surprising because of what I just said. I would feel because early on, do we have enough rope? Do we have enough leash to get deep into the ball game, or in terms of your pitch count, to be dialing up double-digit outings, right? And then towards the end, like I said, you feel like you've settled in and the training wheels are off. You can go get it if it's a matter of getting out of the 7th inning and you're in a big spot and it's pitch number 110 coming up and you've punched out 10 with that last, then that would make sense. But 24 straight starts without a double-digit strikeout performance is, I'm not going to say alarming, but is shocking to me, is surprising to me.
Like, it's hard to have the conversation about, you know, a dude that has a 2.15 ERA, 12 starts into the season, being like, yeah, but he should be striking more people out. It's like, well, domination is domination, no matter how you dice it up. But
his ERA's, I believe it's 2.10 over that 24 start stretch. So like no nits to pick there, even though he's not, you know, he's getting to 9 strikeouts instead of 10.
Yeah. It's not like, alarming. I mean, it's more so just surprising given how nasty his shit is.
Totally.
Well, and like, cause I mean, you could probably select any random year for Randy Johnson. And I mean, you might be hard pressed to find a 5-start stretch where he doesn't strike out double digit batters. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, did Randy Johnson go 5 games in a row without punching out at least 10? You know what I'm going to do here?
Randy Johnson struck out double-digit batters 3 times in 2008 when he was 44 years old. He made 30 starts that season and he had 3 double-digit strikeouts totals.
Here, what fucking year is this? 2002. It was just a random year that I jumped on for Randy. 2002. Okay. He went, as I scroll through here, 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2. Okay. 1. Okay. 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there was a 4-start stretch for Randy Johnson in 2002 in which he did not strike out 10 batters. 4-start stretch. That was the longest stretch of his 2022 campaign. 4 starts where he did not strike out 10 or more.
I want to play. I clicked on 1999 and I've got a 3-start stretch was the longest stretch he went without striking out 10.
And then how about this? Just to put a bow on it, in 2002, a 5-game stretch in which he punched out 11 or more. 11, 14, 11, 12, 16.
Yeah. This one goes 14, 17, 12, 11.
It's silly.
I mean,
silly.
15, 10, 10, 11. Yeah.
That's so fun.
I mean, it's not Randy Johnson shit, but if we're talking like kind of best of both worlds with the Skenes lack of walks over the last few starts and this, I mean, I know we talk about him all the time, but what Scooble has done recently is like legitimately legendary shit. Like I think I had a stat like a 6-start run with that many strikeouts and that few walks. Only him and Kershaw have ever done it. But we're like, it depends on what you want to look at. If you go back to April 8th, which is a span of 9 starts, he's at 3 walks and 82 strikeouts. And if you just go back to April 26th, and go last 6 starts, it's 2 walks and reference is taking a second, 63 strikeouts. I mean, that's 63 strikeouts and 2 walks.
I mean, like this run of dominance, this like what would be the quickest, well, I guess quickest time frame doesn't matter, but the least amount of walks per the first 100 strikeouts for a starting pitcher?
Chris Sale.
Because nobody's at 100 strikeouts yet this season.
Are you talking historically or this season?
I mean, historically.
Yeah, I think Chris Sale through like 2019 had the best strikeouts to walks ratio in MLB history.
Yeah, like fucking 13 or whatever. Because that's just, I mean, this Scooble, 92 punch outs, 7 walks.
Mm.
That is utter dominance.
Yeah. 2017, Chris Sale struck out 308 and walked 43.
Yeah, so I would just, my curiosity was, what is the fewest amount of walks per the first 100 strikeouts for a starting pitcher?
Like in a given season, you're saying?
Yeah. Did Kershaw punch out 100 and only walk 4?
I'm not going to be able to find the answer immediately, but I'm looking up a compelling candidate really fast to see if he had a good.
Yeah. Because that's where like the whole Skenes command conversation that we just had is, and that's why, because what, he doesn't have a, I mean, think about it. Scooble just threw his first complete game.
That was his first complete game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah. In as dominant fashion as you could think about. Fucking Maddox.
So, sorry, Ned. I don't know if this is the answer, DB, but I would imagine that it's a damn close one in recent baseball history. In 2010, the year that he split between Seattle and Texas, Cliff Lee racked up 101 strikeouts and only 7 walks through his first 16 starts.
There it is.
And that is, I believe that season that he had a 10.28 K to walk that season, was obviously the best in the league. And I think Phil Hughes actually owns the best single season K to walk in Major League Baseball history, which kind of like ruins the stat in a way for me a little bit. He had 11.63 at 186 strikeouts and 16 walks in 2014.
Wow.
Did you say that about Scooble, Dallas? Because he's like openly spoken about wanting longer outings?
No.
Did you see the quote?
I mean, what's that?
Did you see the quote?
What about Scooble wanting to go deeper? I mean, this is something that him and I talked about at length.
He said the game's changed a little bit because these guys come in and are the best that they've ever been. But my goal is to make it as difficult as I can on AJ to take me out of a game. I want him thinking a lot about it. I don't want it to be an easy decision. That's kind of what starting pitching is. You take the ball and you eat innings. There's probably a little bit of less value in that in today's game as it was 5-10 years ago.
Yeah. We had a really good conversation. We were on the way to the field where they were going to be doing their running and shit. And I was talking about how the game has started and how individuals just like him, have started to force the conversation and have started to reopen the eyes of the quote unquote nerds, of the data folks. Because, I posed it to him like this. I said, imagine somebody like me being able to sell somebody like you to a major league organization, a manager. And the conversation goes like this. Hey, I know you guys are confident in the bullpen you have down there and you're looking for arms to eat up valuable innings. What if I told you that I have at least one pitcher that you can have on your team that almost gets better as the outing goes on and is in line to give you 6, 7, 8 innings every time he takes the ball? Every time. How valuable would that be to you as an organization, as a manager who can account for 6 to 8 innings every single day this individual goes out and takes the baseball? Wouldn't that be incredible? Now, what if I told you you had an opportunity to try to put, say, 4 or 5 guys like that in a group, and we'll call it a rotation. We'll just rotate these guys. Wouldn't that be great if you had like a handful of pitchers that you could have account for like 6 or 7 innings every time they took the ball? Because Scoops, I feel like you're somebody who starts to reopen the eyes of people and can reintroduce the idea of a starting rotation being a viable group of individuals who eat valuable innings. Imagine that. And it's not like that aha moment, but it starts to put in perspective how important having just one guy like that in your rotation can be, let alone an entire staff, which seems like that's wishful thinking these days. But if you have one dude that is going to account for 200 plus innings, 200 plus punch outs year in and year out, how fucking valuable is that? And that's where watching Scooble do what he does is giving a lot of folks who have seen flashes of this in the past, because it's been a while since you've had horses like this. A while, right? Some of them are still in the game right now, but nowhere near nowhere near the rate that they used to run. Verlander, Scherzer, Kershaw, right? It's not like DeGrom was finishing ball games. Great arm, not finishing ball games. But Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, those are guys who were getting better at the end of their games at a certain point in time in their career. Justin Verlander was, he invented becoming your own closer, at least in our generation, right? After the 7th inning, now it's just fucking 98 from here on out. It's no longer 95 to 97, 98, feeling it around the zone for the first 7 innings. Now it's just fucking absolute petrol down your throat for the remaining 3 innings. You have no chance because Verlander's pissed and he can smell the CG. That's who fucking Scooble is. That's who Scooble absolutely can be. Absolutely.
It's got a very interesting text that caught me off guard.
You want to share it with the class?
Just starting 9 alumni, but I'll tell you guys off the air. It's been a while since I've heard from this guy. That's why I was like, wait, whoa. It's been a few years. Anyways, Dallas, you're a Ridge Wallet guy. I know that about you.
You got me.
Well, because you're always losing shit.
No, that's not true.
Oh, yeah, it is. You're very forgetful. It's mostly because of your recreational drug use. That you're always misplacing things that I'm sure would be easy to locate under normal circumstances. But anyways, I digress. Ridge wallets are a must-have, especially with Father's Day coming up. You're always probably scrambling. Your dad's probably one of those guys where it's just like, yeah, if I want something, I buy it. Very difficult to buy for dad. I understand. But not when you have Ridge wallets. Their unique, slim, modern design that holds up to 12 cards plus cash. It's perfect for Dallas, who's kind of a fatty. So he uses, he's got his license, he's got his credit card, and then he has 10 gift cards to McDonald's and like Dairy Queen. He's got a lot of storage space in his Ridge wallet.
I am a Blizzard guy.
Yes, made with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. Over 50 colors and styles to choose from. I believe I know they have Red Sox ones. I would imagine they have A's ones as well, Dallas. You get yourself a nice little Ridge A's wallet. And they also have a lifetime warranty. This is literally the last wallet you'll ever have to buy. Also, and I know this is probably another issue for Dallas because he's one of these conspiracy guys. It gives you peace of mind because they have RFID blocking technology, so that keeps you from the digital pickpocketers. Best part, over 100,000 5-star reviews. Losing your wallet is the worst, but with Ridge, they have the AirTag attachment. You'll always know exactly where it is. They're not just about wallets either. They create premium everyday carry essentials like key cases, suitcases, and rings, all built with the same sleek, durable design. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all products. Right now, just in time for Father's Day, Ridge is having a huge sale. Get up to 40% off your order with ridge.com/BID. Just head to ridge.com/BID to find the perfect gift for your dad or yourself. When you check out, they'll ask you where you heard about Ridge. Please tell them that Baseball is Dead sent you. Give dad the gift that he wants this Father's Day with Ridge. Shout out to Ridge. Do we want to do the all quarter century team? Are there any other news and note stories?
I'm game.
Do it.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Where do you want to start, Jayhay?
Let's start at first base.
Okay,
Albert,
let's start.
next.
Yeah, because I think it's I mean, it really is that easy though. I feel like there are a number of people, intense fans of baseball though, who don't immediately see that level of separation between Pujols and Miggy, and I would just encourage everybody to see that separation because it's vast, it's real, and Pujols is, I think, all things considered, the second or third easiest choice of every decision that we're going to make here. And that to me isn't disrespectful to the other guys, because not for this podcast, but maybe for a future one, I think there's an absolutely fascinating conversation to have on the next 5 guys. And maybe you see Miggy ahead of those guys, so maybe it's the next 4. But Votto, Helton, Freeman, and Goldschmidt have such similar statistical profiles for their careers that if you were building out, like a first team, a second team, a third team, I think this conversation gets really interesting. But yeah, no dispute for me. Pujols is the answer.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think, if some of these, to Jayhay's point about first base being loaded beyond Pujols being the obvious answer, if it's almost like if you were to remove the obvious answer, then the debate becomes incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
There's so 100%. Many, like, number one, no brainer. But then if you take out that guy, then it's like 3-4 guys where it's like, all right, now we're having a debate here where there's probably not a lot of wrong answers.
And just now that we're getting into that section, like the fact that we're probably going to get to the end of Freddie Freeman's career and a Freddie Freeman or Miguel Cabrera conversation is going to be a very viable conversation to have statistically, and maybe in terms of bulk stuff in Freddie's favor in a lot of cases. Like that, to me, as a person who grew up in watching the entire primes of both of those players, is a shocking thing to come out of my mouth, given how those people were viewed again during like the true primes of their careers. But just to go back to the Pujols Miggy thing really fast, like Miggy has slight edges in batting average, and I mean slight batting average in OBP. Pujols edges him convincingly in slugging, OPS plus, and every single counting stat that matters, including wins above replacement, where he's 34 wins above replacement ahead of Miguel Cabrera. So even with the margin for error there, it would be hard to craft an argument that Pujols is not better.
Yes, agreed. Second base.
I think this was kind of difficult.
Not
the most difficult, but
yeah, definitely not the most difficult. But I could see 3 different guys getting a pick.
Sure. And I
Could
think
you?
I feel like, yeah, I could, but I feel like I feel like we're all gonna land on the same guy. I feel like, because I took a look at Jason Stark's team, and we did not have the same guy. So I was like, am I wrong here? But I feel like I'm right. So I'm more Dallas. Who did you go with?
It's Altuve.
Okay, so that's who I think Stark went with. I did not go with Altuve.
I think it's Altuve. I think, yeah, it's Altuve for me. And I think for some of the same reasons that maybe Jason Stark laid out, because I think if you, it's tough. It's tough because I really like Cano, man. I'll be honest.
I didn't go Cano either.
Really like Cano. But for me, it's Altuve.
Did you?
I mean, there's no.
Did you go one of those two, Jayhay?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
I
went Chase Utley.
I did as well. Okay, so I'm on the right side of history.
I think for me, it did come down to Altuve versus Utley. This is one where I'm not going to like get super mad or passionate in either direction that you went. I will say that, like, I mean, the reasons for it are obvious. As a multi-time PED offender, when it was on the books as a rule, but there is no great player that has been just washed away from history like Robinson Cano. Like if we're just doing stats, he is absolutely the class of second base for his generation. He is a no question about it Hall of Famer. Even factoring in how quickly his career kind of tailed off there in the early mid-ish 30s, like he is convincingly better than Altuve and Utley from a statistical perspective. But like, I don't know, that the PED question hangs over this entire conversation with the quarter century team in a lot of different places. But I ultimately went Utley because I think his statistical resume is probably something like 90% of Robinson Cano's, and it doesn't come with any of the additional questions. And that for me is close enough.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of going to be my question to you is, did you discount Robinson Cano because of the PED stuff, or you just think that Chase Utley and Jose Altuve are better players?
I did not discount people like immediately with PED stuff, because there are multiple people with PED accusations or associations that are on my all quarter century team. But in those cases, I feel like those players were so convincingly better than the other options at their position that the statistical argument overwhelmed anything else in the conversation. I don't feel that way about Robinson Cano's candidacy at second base, even while acknowledging that I think he is the best statistical candidate. I think I'd rather have an Utley or an Altuve that don't come with what are very clear-cut post-rule testing PED suspensions.
Infractions. Yeah. I mean, and for me, I think Altuve he's the sweet spot of the power of the patience. Because Cano has what, almost 100 more homers, if not 100 more homers than Altuve. Altuve will be able to continue to chip away at that. But yeah, like comparing him to Utley, the walk rate just slightly lower, but the strikeout rate slightly lower. As far as WRC plus goes, Altuve and Cano are closer than Altuve and Utley. Utley has them all by WAR, right? Or at least I think Fangraph WAR, F4. Yeah, I just everything that we've seen from Altuve and the role that he has played in the success of the dynasty, and again, the power from the position, and I love the fact that he's been the Mighty Mouse of the era as well. Right? Like just the poster child for, can you do this at this size? Yeah. And you can do it well. You can do it very well. Yeah, I've enjoyed watching his game unfold.
This is one of those where I feel like I'm not going to feel good about it necessarily. I'm going to be like, oh, is it Altuve? Is it Utley? Like, should I have not written off Cano so quickly? But I do feel like the tone of the conversation feels different if Utley has one of the MVPs that I think he should have.
Yeah.
And like,
yes.
So like that's part of me. I keep going back to like the Altuve thing where he's got like he's got the awards and the accolades that the other two guys don't have. Those guys have accolades, of course, just not at the same degree. But I just feel like I've stumped on the fact that I feel like Utley should have an MVP, and I still believe that. So if I believe that and I stick an MVP on his resume, then I feel like I'm more confident in that selection.
I don't think you shouldn't feel unconfident. Like, there were years where he was a fucking 9-WAR player and finished 14th, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like, you can make the case that Chase Utley has no MVP, but should, and Jose Altuve has one, but should not.
And should not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Third base, feel like this one's super easy as well. Does anyone not have Adrian Beltre? What?
I took the Rod, man.
Why?
Why wouldn't I take Alex Rodriguez?
Because he's probably the best third baseman.
Yeah, I mean,
Jared, I'm with you in a world where I'm allowed to completely hate the motherfucker and be biased and not have any bit of my integrity called
I'm glad
into
we
question.
stumbled into this. This
is I don't like this.
No, this to me was like, I'm like putting A-Rod in my 1, and then I'm having like a hypothetical conversation with myself about who I would put at 2. Like, that's where I'm at, because I obviously I respect Adrian Beltre, but like, if you're asking me point blank, whose full career I'd rather have between Beltre and Chipper Jones, I'm taking Chipper Jones, and that only like 75% of Chipper's career came from 2000 on. So that's the hemming and the hawing there. But I don't think there's any question about who was a better player at their peaks, sustained peaks, between Chipper and Adrian Beltre. And if I feel that way, then to me, it's like that answers the question with A-Rod almost in a sense, because even if we're cutting off those fantastic 96 to 99 seasons, like, most of his best work came in this 2000 era. Most of it was as a third baseman. And I mean, we're talking like, what did he contribute? He contributed Adrian Beltre's entire career in wins above replacement just from 2000 on.
All right. So here's my counter to that.
Yes.
Alex Rodriguez became a third baseman in 2004.
Yep.
And from that point forward, 53.8 WAR.
Yep.
Adrian Beltre, from 2000 until 2018 when he retired, all as a third baseman, 89.7 WAR.
For sure. So, and that's a totally valid counter. But this to me is a version of the Randy Johnson conversation that we're going to have as a pitcher, or the Barry Bonds conversation as hitter, which is that you have a person who is unquestionably at a different stratosphere of the sport historically, and you only get a portion of their career. And I understand that I understand that part of that was as a shortstop, but we are counting everything from 2000 on. It just happens that he played the majority of his. I have to pick a position for A-Rod. That's the decision, and the and the position has to be third base, basically. So, because I don't think he doesn't have enough quantity at shortstop during this era. So, like, if you want Beltre, that's fine. It's the cleanest answer.
Here's something that's fascinating. Okay, so let's play your exercise. Alex Rodriguez, since the start of 2000, so you're including his shortstop seasons as well.
Yeah. Yep.
That would be an 89.7 WAR. Beltre, from the start of 2000, an 89.7 WAR. It's identical. So I don't know that it's some slam dunk thing that you guys are making it seem like. And Beltre was at third the whole time.
Sure, but it obviously comes with the understanding context that we're not including a portion of Alex Rodriguez's career, but it still exists. So, like, it's not like I think
just
that
forget
part,
about it.
Right? You're not factoring it in statistically, but you're also acknowledging that, like, it same thing with Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson didn't appear as a pitcher in 2000 and give us 4 great seasons and then 4 crappy seasons and then disappear. Like, he's an all-time legendary player that would be represented on an all-quarter century team. And this is not me like railing against Beltre. I think he would be my third choice. I think he was Stark's choice. So it's not like it's a crazy selection. But to me, Alex Rodriguez, at the end of the day, absolutely positively must be on this team. And if that's the case, then he has to be at third base. All due respect to Chipper and Adrian Beltre.
I mean, I kind of viewed the exercise as like since 2000, not like.
No, it is. It is.
Then if it is, then Beltre is the correct answer.
But you just laid out that they have the exact same number of career WAR since 2000.
Correct.
And that
Beltre was a third baseman the whole time, whereas A-Rod was not.
For sure, which matters.
Yeah. So if we're talking like it's.
I mean, he did play 156 games at DH, Adrian Beltre, and 1 at second base. If we're gonna, keep everything totally square.
That's true.
If we're gonna nitpick.
I mean,
he had 0 hits in that game as a second baseman, so that Jared's argument actually might be stronger once you take that away.
A-Rod also was DHing in those final seasons.
I mean, the A-Rod thing's really more about the Yankees, though, isn't it, man?
What about the Yankees?
That you don't like them?
No, I'm pro A-Rod.
You're pro Rod. I'm anti-Rod.
Yeah, I'm pro Rod. He's had me at his house. We broke bread, brother.
Wow.
I mean, I had to sign an NDA to go on his property, but he still invited me over.
And I'm surprised he ate bread. A lot of carbs in bread.
It was probably gluten-free.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So Dallas and I are A-Rod, you're Beltre. Is that where we came down on that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shortstop?
Oh, this is another easy one. Who'd you guys go with?
Ooh. I think Jayhay and I probably landed on the same guy.
Which is?
And I think is it not Francisco Lindor?
I heavily considered Francisco Lindor for this.
I think it's Francisco Lindor. If it wasn't going to be Frankie for me, I think it was going to be J-Roll.
Oh, for God's sake.
Come on.
Oh, for God's sake, people.
It's Francisco Lindor.
I have Derek Jeter. So you and I did not go on the same way there. I'm open to the idea that when we have this conversation at the end of Francisco Lindor's career, that it will be him. But I am not willing to concede a slight edge in wins above replacement to more or less everything else. And
to the winning?
Yeah, like, listen, all-star selections, whatever. But like 12-4, like 12-4. I mean, we have we have 2 championships to 0. We have a slightly more impressive offensive profile from a slugging and OPS standpoint for Lindor, but that also includes Jeter's decline. So like,
the conversation defensively is not even a conversation.
No, it's not. It's not.
Not even a conversation. And as far as shortstop is concerned, a premium defensive position, I'm going to have to factor that in. And we're talking about individual achievements. And so you can rattle off the all-star selections
we are
all
and
you
we
want.
aren't. Yeah.
But then the winning, that part, I can respect that, but that's a team-oriented conversation. And there's a lot of help that Jeter was getting that Francisco Lindor, frankly, has not gotten and probably will not receive in terms of collective talent around him that could bolster that perspective of his of the argument.
Yeah. I'm fine if you're projecting down the line and think that Lindor is going to be the answer here. I think you still have to go with Jeter based on resumes to this point. And
I project, and that has to be a factor because we're also factoring in the downturn and the later years of less productivity for Jeter. Yep. And I'm not saying that you're asking us to ignore that, but you are asking us to consider that. And so I would also consider the hypothetical projection.
I mean, we could get to a point, depending on how Lindor's decline phase goes, where he ends up with 150 more homers than Derek Jeter in the 2000s or something like that, or 175.
He's got 100 more now, right?
He's at 61 more now, 258 to 197. Anyway, Jared, who'd you go with?
You know who I went with.
Jeets. Xander.
Xander.
Trevor Story.
No.
You went with Hanley Ramirez, didn't you?
No.
Bobby Witt Jr.
You guys
Fernando
have named,
Tatis.
You guys have named every other Red Sox shortstop of the quarter century besides the one that is clearly the pick.
Oh my God, he didn't.
He
didn't do it. He did.
No.
He did.
I mean, if we're talking,
why? Because you broke bread with Nomar too, for God's sake.
I've barely met the guy. I met
He's going to
him.
be very pleased to hear that you picked him because I don't know if you've looked at his statistical resume, but it's the resume of a Hall of Famer.
It is. Yes. Nomar Garciaparra is my shortstop of the quarter century. I just knew that like everyone was going to be like, oh yeah, Jeter. And I'm like, well, I know of a shortstop that's better than Jeter. So if everyone's picking Jeter, then I'm going to pick the guy that's better than Jeter. And that would be Nomar Garciaparra. So that's ultimately my logic.
Extremely troubling given that I would say like 3 of his 6 best seasons came 97, 98, 99.
Yeah. So like you're obviously just like getting too in the weeds on the rules of the exercise, which
no, just want to call it out for all those listeners who are probably saying, wait, I thought he was good. I thought he broke down in the 2000s.
He did, but like he also had a few good seasons in the 2000s as well. Specifically the 2000 season where he hit 372, which I believe is still the highest batting average of someone in the American League. Like no one's topped that since then.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, so that's my shortstop of the fucking quarter century is a guy that can go out there and hit 372 with a 1033 OPS.
That's crazy. Didn't even make my working list.
Well, that's because you need to open up your eyes, stat boy. Why don't you look at the numbies?
Like 372. You know? Yeah.
Like 372.
No love for J-Roll?
No,
not really.
Wow. No, I heavily considered Francisco Lindor. Never gave any consideration to Derek Jeter. I mean, how are you going to make statistically the worst defensive shortstop of all time the all fucking quarter century shortstop? It's like usually we don't reward people for being the worst at something.
My infield is not going to be known for its defense.
Apparently not. You're not going to slow many balls down.
No. Well, that's because we're going to win every game. 13-0 because of my starting rotation and my offense. Your guys' teams will probably win in similar fashion because it's a lot of the same players. Catcher?
I feel like we're going to be in locks. We have not universally agreed on anything, right? Besides Pujols, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I feel like we're going to universally agree here.
We'll go first, Capitan.
He's talking to you, Dallas.
This was painful for me.
Oh, what the fuck?
What?
This was painful for me because I want to go with the Bay Area kid, but I'm going to go with fucking Mike, the fucking hair highlights Piazza. Who are you? If not Buster Posey, then who, dude?
What do you mean then? Like there's not a fucking second option here?
No, like I think Stark went with Yachty, which I respect the pick, but I can't in good faith go with Yachty over Buster Posey. I can't do that.
Slow down. There's only 2 options in my opinion, and those are the 2.
Right. So you're going.
Those are the 2.
Wow, not even putting Joe Mauer in the conversation.
Wow.
That is maybe the most disrespectful thing that's been said so far on the all quarter century team. We should put that on a quote board.
I mean, Joe Mauer's a first baseman.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, it's Buster for me.
Okay. So then why start apologetically if you know that that's where the rest of the panel is going to go? I don't want to speak for Jayhay, but I trust
as a pitcher for dismissing, and I'm not dismissing, but for allowing what Buster's overall probably offensive resume maybe brings to the table, as opposed to the defensive aspect of it. Because Yachty...
Oh, because he got his legs taken out and he couldn't be as good defensively? He was attacked?
Yachty's impact is unquestionable. And when you hear from multiple generations of pitching staffs about the impact of an individual, because look, Buster Posey is not being lauded for the game caller or for the defensive prowess, anything that we know about Yachty, respectfully. And that has been the separator in the conversation. And I'm not saying separator in terms of good or bad, like this guy's better, but that's been the point of contention was Buster anywhere close to defensively or had the impact defensively that Yachty had? No, not even close. Not even close. But can you have that same kind of conversation from an offensive perspective in regards to Buster and Yachty? Maybe.
No.
Maybe. No?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm going to look right now.
I'm not telling you it's the same conversation. I'm not telling you there's the same gap that exists between them defensively as offensively, but there is still a conversation to be had for the separation and productivity between the two offensively.
29.
I mean, Buster hit almost 30 points higher career-wise, 20-something points higher.
Oh, it's not even close. Yachty a 96 career OPS plus compared to Buster Posey's 129. Yeah, it's not even close. It's a blowout.
But I also just I'm not disputing that Yachty is the gold standard defensively for his era, maybe all time. But I do feel like he just gets the credit for the pitch, not for the defense, but for the pitching staff performance. And I know he's part of that. And I'm drawing a line between, throwing runners out and blocking pitches and stuff like that versus how he worked with the staff. I feel like he gets an enormous amount of credit with that. And it's sort of just glossed over that they had Chris Carpenter, who was awesome.
Chris Carpenter, Matt Morris, Adam Wainwright,
guys who were I guess in some cases weren't technically good before Yachty, in Wainwright's case, because he kind of showed up at similar times. But those guys were great pitchers in and of themselves. And Buster Posey certainly gets, I think, enough credit on the whole, but I don't feel like he gets the same level of credit for the work with the pitching staff. And those pitching staffs drove those Giants to championships.
The bullpen,
even more so than those Cardinals pitching staffs drove. And it's not taking away from the Cardinals, but the Cardinals offense at that time was superior to what the Giants were bringing. And I just don't know that you convince me that the mystique of Yachtier's defense outweighs what you guys are talking about with the offensive advantage. And I do put Joe Mauer in this conversation, but to me, Buster Posey is probably the correct compromise, because you're getting what was basically a full-time catcher, a guy who was for most of his career not a defensive liability, and in some cases maybe a defensive asset, and the gold standard offensively at his position without the complications that come with Joe Mauer. So Posey is my pick as well.
Love that. I also, just one final note on Buster Posey. The fact that he bowed out after hitting 304 with a 390 on base and an 889 OPS, got MVP votes, was an all-star and a silver slugger, and then was like, all right, see ya. That is at 34. We've seen guys have, big time final seasons, but it's it was time. I'm 39, I'm 40, and I just happen to have a really good final season, but it was great to go out on top. Buster Posey retired at the age of 34 and retired on top and was like, this is what I want to do. Bye-bye.
Smell you. Now I'll run the team. Now I'm going to own it.
Now I'm going to own and run the team. Yeah. I know you said, did you say you didn't want to do DH, Jayhay?
No, I did. I forgot to put it in the initial rundown.
And I still did anyway.
Yeah, of course. No. And then I said we should definitely do it, because I want to see if you had the guts to do what I don't think you should do.
Yeah, I think Dallas is obviously going Shohei, right?
Yep.
And Jayhay's going Shohei.
Yeah, I think it's a tough conversation. I don't think it's a laugher. I'm not being disrespectful to Ortiz, but I do think Shohei's place in the history of Major League Baseball is overwhelming.
Well, it's already established, and again, if we're allowed to just take a little peek into the future, yeah.
Well, and also I saw the argument that I think Stark said it, that the entire trajectory of the Red Sox franchise the vibe, the cult, everything changed in part because of David Ortiz. And I get it and I respect it. But changing the trajectory of one franchise, even one as legendary as the Red Sox, and that was mired in the sort of curse that they were, is not the same as changing the sport.
No.
And being the most important baseball player that has
Ever.
existed in maybe ever, and certainly in this 25-year span that we're talking about. So I get the sample. I get Ortiz's place as the greatest DH who has completed his career. That's just don't let the paint dry on that one, because Ohtani's got it.
Yeah, Ohtani will have it, but he does not currently have it, and unfortunately, the construction of the team happened today. Whereas, yes, like Ohtani, very good. Has he surpassed David Ortiz as a DH? No, he has not.
But I know that he has, Ortiz obviously has him on bulk, much longer career, more championships, all of that sort of stuff. But like, he doesn't even have him on like peak offensive production as a DH. So it's not like we're just hanging this on, well, this guy was also a pitcher once, and that's super cool and is an MVP and very popular. Like, the best seasons strictly offensively by Shohei Ohtani are definitively better than the best seasons by David Ortiz. In fact, the 3 best seasons that exist between either of them are all Shohei Ohtani's.
That's like if some random bum, like if like Brady Anderson, when he hit 58 home runs one year, if he was a DH, it's like, well, now Brady Anderson's the best DH of all time because he has a season that was better than any of David Ortiz's seasons. It's like, that doesn't hold any water. Like, that's like the bulk matters.
Are we even certain that David Ortiz is better than Edgar Martinez?
Yes.
I think he is. I'm not sure about it.
He is.
And if I'm not sure, then he can't be better than Shohei.
Well, look it up, stat boy. Go look at the fucking numbers and get back to me on your little book report. David Ortiz is the best DH of all time.
He is, except for Shohei.
Shohei, it's like, all right, yeah, like he's a very good hitter. But like to put him above David Ortiz right now is fucking crazy. Could he get there? Absolutely. He's a different kind of hitter too. It's like Shohei gets blown because he's stealing bases. Like Poppy's not stealing bases. Like that's not what he does.
That's because he was slow and kind of unathletic.
Yeah, so now you're really parsing the position down to just swinging the bat now.
It's called a designated hitter, not a designated base stealer.
If you should hit a double and be able to steal third, I'm going to accept that. And if David Ortiz, who has the uncanny ability to turn a double into a single,
no chance
should not be able to do that.
Poppy wasn't able to steal second because he was already standing on it, Dallas. You're a fucking geek, dude.
Yeah, same thing for Ohtani, pal.
Nah.
But he'll still third.
No, he won't.
But yeah.
Can you look that up? How many bases did he steal last year? 59, 58, whatever it was. How many of those
Ohtani?
were? Yeah, like 2?
No.
3. I'll give him 3. Can you look that up? Is that a researchable statistic?
Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah, Jayhay's on it. It's probably 3.
I'm going to say 5.
Yeah, that's not a lot. So
I was doing something else, so I'm going to have to.
If you were looking up David Ortiz versus Edgar Martinez, you're wasting.
I was.
Yeah, you're wasting your time, dude.
No. Because while I'm looking this other thing up, I would just want you to marinate on the fact that Edgar Martinez leads David Ortiz in wins above replacement, batting average, on base percentage, OPS, and adjusted OPS, and it's time for Feud.
You cut that off. We're done with the outfield?
What? Oh, you were not done?
No,
all right, let's do the outfield because people want Family Feud. People are obviously like, let's go with the Family Feud.
All right, so left field is obviously Barry Bonds.
Yep.
No dispute there.
Nope.
Shout out the Big Puma.
Center field is obviously Mike Trout.
Yep.
Shout out Carlos Beltran.
I was going to say, like, Beltran was my second name, and I'm just like, well, this isn't really anything, is it? Like,
shout out Jim Edmonds.
Yeah. So right field was.
Shout out Aaron Judge.
Yeah, that's my pick too. Did you?
Or Ichiro. I mean, it was Judge or Ichiro for me.
See, See, I'm glad you said it that way because I went with Aaron Judge. It wasn't that hard for me. Judge's peak value is so much greater than Ichiro's.
Not even debatable, not even a slight conversation.
No, and here's where I want to debate
twice.
You. Here's where I want to debate you, and I
He's
accuse
fucking Hall of Famer.
All of these people are. I accuse Jason Stark of doing this too. I don't understand. I honestly do not understand why Ichiro Suzuki is the second best option and it's not Mookie Betts.
It is Mookie Betts.
Mookie was on my list for sure.
He should be on the list. He's also the best option other than Aaron Judge. Like, correct. I think that was the decision for me, was Judge versus Mookie, not Mookie or Ichiro or Judge versus Ichiro. Like, I love Ichiro. Mookie is just a better baseball player if we're taking into consideration what was accomplished in Major League Baseball in the United States of America.
I agree with Jayhay. It's still Aaron Judge, but if there were, because we talked about earlier, like if you remove the obvious ones, like we're not even having a debate about left field. We're not even having a debate about center field. Right field, same thing. If we take out those guys, the conversation becomes Mookie Betts versus Ichiro Suzuki, and Mookie Betts should win that.
Like, I know that we're going to point to hits, right? Like Ichiro has 3,089 hits and Mookie Betts has fewer than 1,700. And I know that is a amazing gulf between the two of them. But other than that, what is the case? And I guess stolen bases. What is the case for Ichiro Suzuki over Mookie Betts? Because Mookie's played in far fewer games and has been at the very least equally productive by wins above replacement, if not more so. He is better in on-base percentage, and that factors in Ichiro's batting average. He's better in on-base percentage. He's better in slugging. He's better in OPS. These are two totally different players in that regard. He has the same number of MVPs. He has all of the championships. Ichiro obviously has 0. And then defensively, Gold Gloves. I think Ichiro has more. Mookie's obviously been and considered a high-level defensive player. I just don't get why we're breezing past, and we're not, but Ichiro's in the Hall of Fame, yes. Mookie Betts will also be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't know if people get how good Mookie is still. I feel like we do this every year.
You want to know why? And I'll be honest. I think it's because of how piss poor he was treated by the Red Sox. And you get a team that's willing to just piss away a talent like that, that kind of Hall of Fame presence.
That's not.
I think that's why people are almost like, oh, well, because wasn't there a franchise that essentially took this Hall of Famer and were just looking to scrounge up pennies out of the couch and decided to move him so they could do that? Like they wanted to supersize instead of just taking the fucking medium. And so they got rid of a Hall of Famer. What they did.
Dude, don't make him hit the Family Feud music again.
Yeah. Also, I have a working theory that the only reason that Connor Wong, who has 0 extra base hits and has not driven in a run since last September, the only reason they haven't designated him for assignment is because they don't want the Mookie Betts trade discourse to kick up again. They're like, we suck right now. Like, we went from like bragging about, trading for Crochet and signing Bregman and we're going to make the playoffs and things are different now, to like, we're actually worse somehow than we were in the years that we disappointed you guys. So if they designated Connor Wong for assignment, then it would be like, well, that's the final piece of the Mookie Betts trade to leave the organization. Fucking Jeter Downs is playing in Taiwan or wherever the fuck he is. And then you got Alex Verdugo signing for 1 year and $60 on February 28th to get a job in the big leagues. And here goes Connor Wong, who hasn't driven in a run since fucking last year, literally. And that's what we got from Mookie Betts.
Fucking printing money in Hollywood.
Just playing shortstop.
The best team in baseball.
Platinum Glover.
Playing with the greatest player in baseball.
Winning the World Series every year. Yeah.
Thank you, Red Sox.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for needing to save $25 on your next car insurance quote by switching to fucking not Mookie. Oh, God.
Here are the only outfielders to debut in the live ball era who have more wins above replacement through age 32 than Mookie Betts, okay? Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Mel Ott, Barry Bonds, Stan Musial, Mike Trout, Ricky Henderson, Ted Williams, Frank Robinson, Ken Griffey Jr., and Al Kaline.
Those are all Hall of Famers, Jayhay.
That's it. And it's not just Hall of Famers. Like that's
inner circle.
That's just all of the good outfielders, right? Like, except for, I guess, Clemente is the only one that I'm thinking off the top of my head, and because he didn't debut early enough. Like, it's just, or didn't play late enough, I should say, rather. It's just incredible that he's still not respected enough. And if I could find a way to get him on my all quarter century team, I really would have liked to do so. And there was a part of me that wanted to break the rules and just put him in center field over Mike Trout because I'm so mad about Mike Trout's career.
Yeah. And look, and I can admit a personal bias towards Ichiro, just simply having played against him.
Towards Ichiro, not against any organizations or anything like that.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, the bias having played against the individual.
No, I heard you. Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think anytime I watch a franchise that is supposed to be attempting to win baseball games, eschew a Hall of Fame talent out of their doors, I have questions. We're not quite done yet.
Still not done.
All right, my bad.
Not
the rotation. Yep. Kershaw, Verlander, Scherzer. Does anyone disagree with those three?
Got to be locks.
Okay, those are locks. It was interesting to hear Jayhay say it was, difficult to debate the last two. Like putting in Halladay was difficult for you?
No, he made it in.
Okay.
I'm not going to be like oddly controversial, but I did find myself double checking Roy Halladay against Zach Greinke specifically because.
So that's my fifth. They both made it for me.
So I think that's completely viable. I was debating those two and Randy Johnson for reasons that I alluded to earlier about peak versus bulk and stuff like that. But I did give the edge to Halladay in the Halladay-Greinke argument because while I think they ended up having very similar careers value-wise, I think with the exception of Greinke's 2009 season with the Royals, the peak that Roy Halladay provided was better and more consistent than Greinke's, and that he delivered similar value in less bulk. I do think gives him the edge. So yeah, not to be morbid, but I do feel like sometimes when people die, their legacies are treated in a certain way, in an unimpeachable way. And not that I'm impeaching Roy Halladay's legacy, but I think the debate between him and Greinke and those guys and Sabathia, if you take it down another half level, I think are a little bit closer than their legends or stuff might suggest.
Yeah. My fifth starter debate was between Greinke, CC, and Johan.
Glad you gave Johan some love there.
Yeah, I really considered Johan. I was leaning Johan, but then I was like, I am completely undervaluing how great Zach Greinke was. Like, I don't want Zach Greinke's legacy to be like, oh yeah, he was the weird guy that like he would like signal pitches and then still throw it and whatever. And he had like weird interviews and stuff like that. Like Zach Greinke was also clearly one of the best pitchers of this generation.
I don't think it's going to be remembered that way, but I think it should be closer to be remembered as a big four with him next to the three guys that we consider locks than it ever really actually is.
Yeah. I don't think that he'll get put in with that group for whatever reason, or at least like when we talk about it, it's always like, oh yeah, and Zach Greinke too. But like, yes, to your point, statistically, yes, he belongs. But yeah, I went Zach Greinke as my number 5.
And I don't know. I'm trying to piece it together in my head right now why Greinke why he is not, because he isn't thrown into that mix instantly. Why it's always the big three conversation as opposed to a core four conversation.
Is it playoffs?
I think it's a combination of playoffs, and I think it's a combination of dominance that you got used to, or that you thought you were used to with the other three. Like just fucking punching tickets left and right, the horsepower. Because Greinke was absolutely dominant and throwing the fuck out of the baseball when he first showed up. It feels like the other guys like continued to do that, while Greinke might not have been the consistent fireballer, but still carving.
Well, I think it's subjective and it's objective. I think it's subjective to your point that aesthetically he was not the dominant force that those other guys were, right? He didn't throw as hard. that kind of stuff. I thought he was the most fun person to play with in MVP because of the ethos, but I understand why. Yeah. But I also think it is also objective. I think just objectively, his absolute peak was as high as those guys, but the sustained peak was just not, it was not as good and it was not as dominant. And that's the other point subjectively, is that Greinke's career was more amazing season, good season, good season, amazing season, good. And it's like the other guys, when Scherzer and Kershaw and Verlander were demonstrating their peaks, it was 10 years of some of the best baseball that you've ever seen, pretty much uninterrupted for any of those guys. And Zach Greinke's 2 best seasons came 6 seasons apart for 2 separate teams, in between which he played for 2 additional teams that were not those teams, bounced around a lot. And, he followed up his 2.16 2009 campaign with a 4.17, a 3.83, a 3.48. Like, that's just not the momentum. That's not the consistency that the other guys showed. And I say that while acknowledging what I said earlier, that I think he's closer to belonging with those guys than not. But I don't think the trajectory of his career helped that case.
Okay. So do we all have the same 5?
No, I've got Randy in there.
Okay.
Over Greinke or over? I mean, it has to be over Greinke, right?
Halladay.
Not over Halladay. Over Halladay?
Wow.
Yeah.
What the hell, Dallas?
I'm just partial to Randy, man. I needed a lefty in there.
This feels personal. This was like Dallas threw his perfect game, and then he was like, "I'm the most recent perfect game thrower." And then Roy Halladay was like, "Fuck you, dude!" And then he threw one immediately right after, so it took all of Dallas's shine away. And he's taken this grudge
I just
literally to the grave. Like he is
respect for the old
never
man.
Let this go.
Slicing and dicing into the later years.
Now he's talking. He's saying, "Oh yeah, Roy, you old fuck." That's crazy to say, Dallas. That's crazy to say, given the circumstances. Yeah,
I mean, it's hard egregious for me to. It's and maybe Randy is probably more suited for the quarter century before this.
Yeah.
Well, it really is tough because his best seasons all straddle. Like what does he have? 3 Cy Youngs after and 2 before.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it's like he has to be represented somewhere, but.
I'm also struggling. I'm struggling with this one. This is the only one I'm struggling with since we started talking about it, because I had Randy Johnson over Greinke, but then Jared bringing up Johan, and then I just pulled up Johan's post 2000 against Randy's post 2000, and like if you're going for peak value, I think maybe Johan has a very compelling case even relative to Randy Johnson's peak. So, like, should I then be defaulting to Zach Greinke because it's his whole career? I am going to do that. I'm going to go with Zach Greinke as my 5th.
Yeah, you made the correct choice.
And then Mo for a reliever.
Yeah, that one was easy. Unless, Dallas, you feel differently?
About Mo? No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. There it is. Wow, we did it.
Welcome back to Baseball is Dead Family Feud. I'm your man, Justin Havens. 300 points you guys got last week. You must be feeling pretty good.
This is where they fuck us, Dal.
This is where we
bullshit. I can.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we fuck you. Shout out to my brother who for the first time, tried to get in the Discord to do the Family Feud last night and filled up so fast he didn't even get it in. He was filling it out and it closed up.
Gotta be faster than that.
So you know what? People said the Discord enthusiasm for Family Feud would fade, and those people have been proven 100% wrong. It's as hot as ever. In fact, I got an email about people on Reddit wanting the Discord link, the new Discord link sent. So continues to be popping. Family Feud. It's time. I believe it's Dallas's turn to go first.
Yes, correct.
Let me grab a pen really fast. Hold on.
Good Lord. Oh my.
Okay. Did Jared, pop that top. Are we good? Not cheating. No cheating.
I believe you did.
Okay. Dallas, you know how this game works, right?
I remember.
Okay. All right. It's out of 100 BID fans, as always. Here are the results. Much shorter questions this time in general, so I'm sure you'll enjoy that. Question number 1. Shohei Ohtani has 20 homers, and we are at the end of May. How many homers will he have at the end of June?
29.
In what place in the AL East will the Red Sox finish in 2025?
Last.
How many right-handed hitters in your lifetime have been better than Aaron Judge?
None.
When I say the first name Ryan, what baseball player's name first comes to mind?
Howard. Can I use a first name? Because when I hear Ryan, I think Nolan Ryan.
No. You answered it correctly.
Okay.
You're fine. Question 5. Including the postseason, rounded to the nearest 10, so 0, 10, 20, 70. How many total innings will Shohei Ohtani throw in 2025?
10.
Thank you. Jared, pop him back on, baby.
I feel okay about that.
Hello?
Hey, how we doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine.
How did my friend Dallas do?
He feels okay about it.
Okay.
He shouldn't, though.
Yeah. That's,
oh, no.
Unfortunately. Now that I've added up these numbers, he should not feel okay. I'm going to keep that number in my back pocket for now because I want you to stay focused.
Okay, so I've got a mountain to climb here.
I want you to fucking just win this thing, okay?
I'm going to do my best. Ahead. I don't feel confident, but
just go ahead and win it.
Okay.
And then we'll go through the answers and see where you guys might have stumbled or won it all. Question number 1. Ohtani has 20 homers and we're at the end of May. How many home runs will he have at the end of June?
29. Fuck you, 30.
What are the chances of that?
I know.
Question 2. In what place in the AL East will the Red Sox finish in 2025?
4th.
How many right-handed hitters in your lifetime have been better than Aaron Judge?
0. 1.
When I say the first name Ryan, Ryan, what baseball player's name first comes to mind?
Nolan Ryan. Ryan Howard.
Nope. Nope. No, Nolan Ryan is the answer that I've accepted.
That's shocking that he didn't go Nolan Ryan there. Anyways.
Hold on. Including postseason, rounded to the nearest 10, so 0, 10, 20, 70, etc. How many total innings will Shohei Ohtani throw in 2025?
Postseason innings?
No, including the postseason. So from this moment to the end of the postseason.
70?
All right, let's add them up here. Thank you. All right, let's do it. Question number.
Jayhay, we got to give Dallas another chance at question 3 because 0 wasn't an option. That's bullshit.
Oh yeah, that is bullshit. All right.
Oh,
thank you.
The fuckery.
No, that's
fuckery.
That's not us. That's not us. Ready?
Hold on. What's question number 3?
I'm going to read it to you again.
Okay.
How many right-handed hitters in your lifetime have been better than Aaron Judge?
I can't say 0.
Not if you want points.
And Jared said 1, so fucking 2.
There you go. All right. Thank you.
Horse
Jake.
Shit. Horse shit.
I agree because the correct answer is 0. If that's not an option, that's crazy.
That's the argument I've made too. I'm not disputing you guys. Ready? Question number 1. Ohtani is 20 homers and we're at the end of May. How many home runs will he have at the end of June? Dallas said 29. That was worth 7 points.
What the fuck?
Tied for the 5th most common answer. Jared tried that as well. He pivoted.
They got this guy
to 30.
45 homers in the next.
That was
one?
worth 16 points.
Okay.
So you guys have 23 points through the first question. Number one answer was 28. That was 20.
What? Come on.
23. I know, so close.
Son of a bitch.
It's worth 23 points.
I fucking hate you, and I hate the fucking discourse. I hate all of you.
And it's going to be, we're approaching that point in the week, Dallas, where I stopped texting you for a few days, though. So
Yeah.
we're so close, man. You can taste it. Question 2: in what place in the AL East will the Red Sox finish in 2025? Dallas said dead last, which is bold given that the Orioles play in the division. That was not the right answer. The right answer, that was 2 points.
Okay.
The only worse answer was first, which was 1 point. Jared said fourth.
Yeah.
That was worth 25 points, the second most common answer. So you guys grinded out another 27 points there. So we're up to 50 points through 2 questions. The number one answer was third. That was 44. Keep that one in mind. Question 3: how many right-handed hitters in your lifetime have been better than Aaron Judge? Dallas probably correctly said 0. That was not an answer. That was worth 0 points, but due to our technical director's attention, we gave Dallas a second chance, and he said 2. That was worth 25 points. That was the second most common answer. The most common answer was Jared's response with 1. That was worth 44 points.
Wow.
So we have moved all the way, folks, to 119 points through 3 questions. So you guys need 81 points in 2 questions. Certainly achievable. It's about 20 points an answer on average, for those of you who are not good at math. 3 was the third most common answer, with 16 for the Judge question, if you were curious. Question 4: when I say the first name Ryan, what baseball names player pops into your head? Dallas said Howard. No. Can I say a first name? Nolan. We gave him Ryan Howard because that's what he said. That was the second most common answer with 17 points.
Okay.
So we're up to 136. Jared did come through with that Nolan Ryan answer, a little reverse. That was the third most common answer.
What?
16 points. So
What
you
the
guessed a
fuck?
last name and still got credit.
What the fuck
For a
was
first
the
name.
number one answer?
Braun. And not
Please.
Lloyd Braun. Ryan Braun.
That's crazy.
Yep, this was the biggest spread of any question, but Ryan Braun was the leader with 19. So you guys you were at 1. So 152 is where we sit with 1 question remaining. 48 points is what is needed,
Yeah, not good here.
including the postseason, rounded to the nearest 10. How many innings will Shohei pitch? Dallas said 10. That was worth 6 points. It was tied for the 6th most common answer. So we're up to 158. If Jared's answer is worth 42 points, you guys are the winners. He guessed 70. You're 1/10 of the way there. That was worth 4 points. That gets you guys to 162. We come up just 38 points shy. Now, to head off any questions about, well, was this a winnable one, guys?
It
Could
wasn't.
we have even won it?
It was.
If you guys had answered third place for the Red Sox in the AL East, that change alone would have won you the competition. So
I think if 0 was an option for the voters and I guessed 0, that would have been like, that one was worth 73 points.
Yeah. And
So-
I guessed it first. So
All
it'd
right.
have been a done deal.
So I think we've stumbled on a bit of a misunderstanding about the format and how this works. Jake and I are not taking the questions and providing them with the possible answers. What we are doing is sending the responses, and then the answers are being provided just like in Family Feud. So if no one says 0, that's because no one responded with 0. Am I right, Jake?
No, in this one, they were given options and 0 was not an option.
Oh, yeah. You know what? This whole fucking right here. You know what that means?
I want Corey on the pod next week.
That's what we do when we're protesting bullshit on the field. We have to make the official score aware. There's a protest. We are protesting this. You guys,
you know what? You guys
can't get your shit together.
I accept the protest on this one because I don't understand why 0 would not have been an option when 0 is the most likely answer to be provided. So we're gonna have to have some sort of internal feud meeting. I'm probably gonna have to get in touch with Steve himself, Harvey.
Dallas has his number, right?
I believe so. Yeah, you guys are having lunch right after this. Yeah, you have a standing lunch with Steve Harvey as the greatest all-time feud player, right?
That's what it's a once a month thing.
All right, so we'll put this down as a loss with an asterisk while we review the process. And I think there's a decent chance this one's overturned, if I'm being candid.
I was going to say I would, and just for record keeping, for the power of positive thinking purposes, is there any way that we maybe put a W down with an asterisk, and then once it is confirmed,
yes,
the fuckery has been real, we'll just take the W. And
I think that's fine.
Remove the asterisk.
I think that's fine. I think for now we can put a W with an asterisk.
I'm glad we were able to hash this out.
Yeah, I have to think that if 0 was an option that people could choose from, that would be a heavy one.
That'd be overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was the right answer,
and we gave it.
We did twice.
How
about the 29? The 29.
Yeah. What are the odds, man? I mean, they're pretty low.
Very low.
Yeah, we just felt it.
We did.
Yeah, so this is we've challenged. We're protesting.
I hate to think that Family Feud is starting to get a black eye. I
think I need to take a little bit more control over some of the backroom processes, I think is what I'm seeing.
Is that what's going on? Because that's what we're feeling.
I pay these people an enormous amount of money.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that I think maybe people have gotten a little comfortable.
It's like, well, I'm just saying, it's like Jared and I are the two hosts at the front of the restaurant, and people are coming in and we're seating them. We're doing our part. We're putting them where they need to be. And unfortunately, the back of the house is shitting on saucers and serving that up as food. And people just aren't happy. I mean, they into the building, they're excited. They love the way they've been treated. They enjoyed the small talk on the way to the table. But then the minute they sink their teeth into the product, they've got problems. There's questions.
Bad. It's bad. Clean it up. For the fans. Not for us, for the fans.
Not for us.
The fans are dying for integrity.
For me.
Yeah, the fans are dying for a cleanly run game.
I appreciate Jake chiming in and not letting this run the entire length.
Yeah.
Before we're fucking hosed.
Yeah.
Again.
Literally again.
God, there's lawns out there that aren't getting hosed down as much as we are. Unbelievable.
Any final thoughts here today, Dallas?
I'm in Toronto.
Oh, we love Toronto. What a city. What a country.
Looking forward to seeing our friend Matt.
Yeah. He's going to be furious that you left Halliday off.
he won't be happy about that.
No, he sure won't. Isn't his Twitter handle like Halliday Fan 32?
It is.
Yikes.
It is.
Yeah.
He's gonna have some words for me. That's all right. We'll be able to discuss it in person. That'll be great.
Yeah, he's probably gonna throw hands. So just be ready for that. Jayhay, any delicious, tasty nugs for us?
I do.
Please.
We do. Stand by. First off, Noah Cameron became just the second pitcher since 1893 with 6 1/3 plus innings and 1 run or fewer in his first 4 MLB appearances. All starts. That's according to the Elias Sports Bureau. Need them to be able to go back to 1893. The only other one, Cody Anderson for Cleveland in 2015. So obviously a very illustrious list. Juan Soto, we've been talking about what's going on there. Have you guys seen this? Have you heard about this? His average bat speed has dropped from 75.4 miles per hour to 73.3, And you might be saying, well, that means nothing to me.
No, that means
the context is 5th largest year-over-year drop in Major League Baseball. So matters.
And that officially takes him, Jayhay, out of the fast swing class.
Yes. And to that point, his fast swing rate, which to what Dallas is alluding to, that's percent of swing 75 miles an hour or greater. That's dropped from 59% last season to 38% this season. So some of the cool semi-new stats that Baseball Savant has are revealing some troubling things about Juan Soto.
Think about, not to go off on a tangent here, but think about what that leads to. Think about what that leads to. Now your ability to lift the baseball is directly impacted because of how hard you are or are not hitting the baseball. So you might be lifting the ball, but if there's no ball sack or there's no butt cheeks behind it, that's caught at the track now. That ain't going over the wall. That's not going off the wall. It's caught at the track.
Just so cool. This is an aside, but just so cool. The data that's publicly available for nerds like me to poke around on and see that sort of stuff that was only available to clubs probably as recently as 5-10 years ago. Tim Anderson was designated for assignment. Feels like we're watching the same movie over and over again. This may be the end of that movie. However, 232, 269, 270. That's a 540 OPS since the start of the 23 season. Negative 3.2 B-WAR in 855 plate appearances. And given that the designations have now come from the White Sox, Marlins, and Angels, not sure that unless the Rockies are interested, there's another spot for him right now at Major League Baseball. Just one of the all-time incredible declines. Feel bad. Lance McCullers, opposite on the comeback train.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry about this one, buddy. Lance McCullers is the first Astros pitcher with 12 or more strikeouts and 1 walk in a start of 6 or fewer innings pitched since Justin Verlander, September 28th, 2019. It's a nice little bounce back from McCullers, who been a little bit of a rough go prior to that. A little inconsistent. Yeah.
Spinning the shit out of it still.
Oh, yeah. I went back when I was looking yesterday. Mind-numbing that he used to throw that knuckle curve almost 50% of the time.
Yeah. Well, the fact that number has been cut in half, and then he went out and did what he did yesterday. Just fucking.
Not important in the scheme of stats, but caught my eye when I saw that he had 11 stolen bases already this season. Xander Bogaerts has 43 stolen bases in 320 games with the Padres. He had 74 stolen bases in 1,264 games with the Red Sox. I saw somebody say, well, it's easier to steal bases now. I'm aware of that. That alone doesn't explain like a 5-time increase in stolen base rate. Motivation probably does. Sandy Alcántara, we talked about that earlier. 8.47 ERA. That is the highest through 11 starts in Marlins franchise history, and it's the 8th highest ERA by an NL pitcher through the first 11 starts in a season of the wild card era. And lastly, cherry picking, of course, and different eras. All that context is important. But earned runs allowed through the first 35 starts. Paul Skenes is now at 47 earned runs in 35 starts. For fun, I went through some recent legends and their earned runs allowed in their 35 starts. Skenes, 47. Pedro, 81. Kershaw, 83. Verlander, 87. Clemens, 100. Unit, 102. And Maddox, 115. So we can nitpick all we want about Paul Skenes. Number of innings he's pitching relative to some of those guys. That's all true. But he's a finished product in a way that just almost no, even all-time great pitchers have arrived on the scene recently. So those are the Nuggs, and happy weekend.
Thank you, Justin Havens. Do you have any final thoughts?
Just looking forward to another exciting week of baseball, another exciting weekend of baseball, mostly centered around, I'm a big market whore. I'm excited about Yankees, Dodgers.
That's going to be exciting.
I mean, Judge, Ohtani, the whole bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does something for me. Sorry. Sorry about it.
It should.
I mean, I feel like you're just a hater if you don't agree. If you're a baseball fan, you should want to see the heavyweights going toe-to-toe.
Well, that's how I felt about the World Series. That's how this podcast felt about the World Series last year, and it's how I feel about this matchup again. Yeah,
World Series was a dud, but
the matchup was electric.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Yeah, the billing was great. Jake's takes.
Maybe call up Roman Anthony. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a good idea.
I mean, that'll get you from the base. That'll get you a 4th place finish, right? That should.
They're already in 4th, dickhead. You can
Well, I
keep
meant
saying
because
4th
I got you
place.
finishing
You can say
last.
last place. Yeah, I know. You think that, but just it's not happening. The Orioles are so
That's
bad.
what some have said. Some have said. There's some folks in the discourse who believe that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right, everyone. Enjoy your weekend of baseball. We'll be back Monday live, right?
Yes, we will.
Oh,
All right. That's the plan. I think for now, the plan of like big, like long term is to go live for all the episodes. But I think Monday for right now, it's just Mondays are going to be live.
Just Mondays, and we're working on splitting up the YouTube channel. So TBD if that's this Monday or next Monday.
Okay. All right. So be prepared for that. We'll put some announcements out on social media, but we're going to split up the YouTube channel. So when that happens, please support the show, subscribe on YouTube, and Baseball is Dead will have its own home. And then we'll be going live, at least to start, on Mondays. And the time is 11 a.m. Eastern, yeah?
11 a.m. Yep.
11 a.m. Eastern. Okay. We'll see you guys then.
We go.